Question everything, trust nothing. It's your boy, CryptoKeeper. Now, we've heard a lot about the ETFs. Don't go away. I know it's been boring. This is going to be a little bit different take for you. Okay. I see the traditional banking system collapsing all around us. We have huge, massive institutions that are just failing and falling left and right. Part of it is the collapse of the US dollar kind of happening before our eyes. Obviously, inflation is a big factor. There is a number of economic problems that we face that we don't really have an answer for. So I think it's interesting that the ETF idea comes from BlackRock. BlackRock, as you may know, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street own basically a piece of the pie of everything. They pull the strings in the background politically, they pull the strings in the background financially. They are the huge player in the space, one of three, but BlackRock tends to be the biggest. So BlackRock applies for this Bitcoin ETF. I believe, and Crusader and I talked about this extensively, that BlackRock could effectively be making the play to become the new world bank. Now, stay with me. What do I mean? What I'm suggesting is that if they are able to amass large amounts of Bitcoin on their balance sheet, if they are able to amass large amounts of 401ks, pension funds, et cetera, in the form of Bitcoin, they could effectively take the traditional banking system, flip it on its head, and hold Bitcoin, because guess what it does? It gives them the ability and the product to loan you. See, banks work on a very simple idea. The idea is that, and it came out really in the 50s when effectively the American dream was sold. The American dream was sold because the banks were looking around saying, okay, what asset do we have that we can provide to people to be able to loan money against? And so if we take Bitcoin acting as property, acting as a commodity, and BlackRock with more money than God comes in and just starts piling on and piling in to this thing that is called Bitcoin, they could effectively have the asset, have the property to loan you. Because the reality is, if they're able to drive prices exponentially higher over a long period of time, people are going to see that maybe selling their Bitcoin isn't the best idea. Maybe taking a loan against their Bitcoin is a better opportunity for them. And they could effectively play both sides of the ball with this. They could push the markets around, take profits when appropriate, while at the same time, everyone that wants to be a hodl for life type of investor could take loans against their Bitcoin. They're charging an interest rate to effectively hold it through them, and poof, they're the new banking system. See, because the banking system, as I said at the start of the video, is collapsing all around us. So they're looking for different options, different opportunities. There's so much energy being wasted worldwide, and Bitcoin seems to be the option to fill that gap. And if all of these trillions of dollars of energy are being wasted, BlackRock says, hey, wait a minute, we could capture a big piece of that market share. They start mining, they start stacking Bitcoin. They have the spot ETF, so they're continuing to have people pile into Bitcoin, pile into Bitcoin, pile into Bitcoin. Price driving exponentially higher, exponentially higher. More and more people are using it. Visa, MasterCard, everybody that's piling in, Amazon that's getting involved in this, it just gives validity and validates the idea that Bitcoin's the real deal. Now, BlackRock, making themselves effectively the biggest holder or one of the biggest holders in Bitcoin, could push the idea via marketing, which, by the way, they own every single news station out there, every single media company out there. They could push this idea that, wait a minute, you don't need to sell your Bitcoin for profits. Just take loans against it, and hey, we'll give you a really low interest rate on it. It is possibly the biggest, backwards, best, depending on how you look at it, possibly worst idea to fix the problem at hand. It fixes the problem for BlackRock in the opportunity to now have an investment asset, have an asset to be able to loan to you. It also, because they're such big players, allows them to push the markets around. There's some interesting things at play here. I think you need to keep your eyes open, because we always say here on Debate Crypto, question everything, trust nothing.